Aloha! The pathway from Honolulu to Maui is designated on a map I found. The ship departed late. The captain had to check on the engines to make sure they were up to snuff, so we were eating dinner as the vessel slipped away from the docks. Traveling the ocean at night, the huge ship rocked a bit, as evidenced by the water in the pool smashing from end to end. Most of the open deck was void of people. Early before sunrise, I made my way to the bow of the ship, alone, but a couple others eventually showed up, and we developed a bit of a camaraderie over the next several mornings. Entering each harbor brought new sights as the days began. Kahului was a busy place and a tight fit. A tugboat met us and helped dock the big boat. Activities were many and varied. A daily magazine with coupons and tours were handed out by the staff each morning. I had already pre-arranged for most daily events we wanted to partake in, and left plenty of free time to travel at an easy pace should we decide to spend time somewhere along the way. Our main objective on this first day was to travel the road to Hana. Lisa was hoping to find some coral jewelry, and I had picked out some shops to hopefully find some along the way. However, we soon learned that coral is native and protected. The only coral you could legally buy was imported. We delighted in shopping in the nearby town of Paia and found some interesting stuff and some friendly people. Another quick stop at Hukila Park overlooked a surf community. Waves were not as demanding as on the north shore of Oahu, and tamer seas gave longer rides. It was here we met more native people, selling their wares like pottery, food, and of course, jewelry and beads. The road to Hana is about 42 miles long, has over 600 tight curves, 56 bridges, most of which are single lane, and dozens of overlooks, rivers, and waterfalls. The road traverses the nearby coastline. We stopped at several waterfalls and at a state park. It goes through a dense rainforest. Some washouts regularly occur, so you really have to watch for obstacles and oncoming traffic. The tour vans were the worst, as they moved along rapidly and often stopped at inopportune places. At this one bridge we stopped. Even though it was wet and rainy, I got out to get some footage of a fabulous waterfall. I climbed along a cement abutment at the end of the bridge, took my pictures, and then as I looked down, saw one side was a drop of about 10 feet. The other went straight down about 80. My heart was racing, and a fellow tourist asked me if I needed assistance to get back. Just before Hana, we stopped at another park. Burial grounds with ancient chiefs and their families were decorated with flowers. The black sand beach was closed for ongoing repairs. Rock formations made for some interesting views and wave action. We watched mongoose play hide and seek with tourists as they dove into garbage bins looking for food. The steps leading to the cave were slick with leaves and rain. The cave was closed too, so people wouldn't fall in. We got into Hana, stopped for lunch at the beach, then made our way back onto the main road. We talked with the waitress, who said traveling further was not advised, without asking the forest rangers at the nearby post if their bridges were safe to cross today. We stopped at a general store there and bought some souvenirs. There were many places that used lava rock to form walls and sturdy fences. The rangers at their station said the bridges were fine, although they said they couldn't recommend driving, but otherwise perfectly passable. Flowers were common wherever people had made their homes. This road soon turned to dirt, and narrow, blind hills and curves became frequent. We nearly scraped a couple of big oncoming trucks, missing them by mere fractions of an inch. Surfing along here is treacherous, with coral reefs under the surface. In many places, chainmail secured the cliff rocks from crumbling and falling onto the roadways. We were at the foothills of Haleakala now. The road headed west and got progressively worse. Coconut stands are scattered along this road too. Small villages hold enough people to operate a church in this desolate land. Free-range cattle are prevalent, and road-width grates help keep them from wandering too far. The volcanic base is beginning to give way to plants, shrubs, and trees. The road eventually begins to clear up and cuts across the heart of the island instead of following the rocky, rugged, barren, wild coastline. It was dark as we got onto the main road back, which has access roads to Haleakala, and made our way back to the ship. The next day, I was scheduled to try learning how to surf. I'd been making reservations for this and other adventures along with car rentals through Tom's Barefoot Adventures. They were very helpful, knowledgeable, and prices were a little cheaper too. We took the short drive across Maui to the west coast town of Kihei, saw the landscaped and manicured homes, found the school, and had time to poke around in some stores before my class. As I met the instructors, it became known that nobody else was there for lessons, so we picked out our boards. I had two super guys giving me pointers on land how to balance and perfect my technique before heading out into the water. If you can't get standing properly on land, you'll never get up out there. They guaranteed I'd be able to surf. Another guy there offered to come out and take pictures. For a mere $25, he would produce a small package and put them on a CD for me to take with. After a couple tries, I was able to stay up and began to get the feel of it. I wasn't the oldest guy they'd taught. Last year they had a 78-year-old guy take the class. I could stay as long as I wanted, they said, and even use the board all day if I wanted to. One time as we paddled out, Keoki, the main instructor, pointed to a huge sea turtle swimming alongside us as we went out. Lisa and I went back to the store we had found earlier and bought a nice wood memento, among other things. I was reluctant to take pictures inside the store as many local artists had items on consignment. We traveled down the coastline, past some parks and surf areas, till we got into the immense lava fields, saw Haleakala once again in the distance hidden by clouds. The landscapes were well kept, and I noticed many places had created vast walls using lava rock. Large entry gates were decorated with magnificently detailed designs. We headed off to a small restaurant for lunch and tried some fish. Ono was recommended, so I tried it. Sure enough, it was delicious. We turned around and found our way back, dropped off the rental car and got back to the ship in plenty of time before our next departure. Every time we got back to the stateroom, there was a new towel creature awaiting our arrival. The sun going down on the mountain-filled horizon made for an interesting backdrop as outrigger canoes raced in the harbor. A lone paddleboarder makes his way back to shore as dusk approaches. Onward to the Big Island and Hilo.